Hello everyone, happy Friday! So excited for this weekend. I am going to give this just a moment and give everybody a chance to hop on. Hopefully we get some folks on here, but I know that it's kind of a weird time of day for a lot of you, so it might be quiet. See if we can get someone on. If you're climbing on the video with us, let me know so that I know everything is good to go. I'm gonna check it on my computer first, just to make sure before I kick this off. Looks like we have people trying to hop on and getting kicked off here, so we're going to give it just a little bit longer. There we go. It's coming. Hey, Janae. Let me know when you guys get on. Throw me some hearts. Say hello. And we're just about ready. Cool. Okay. So it looks like we are all good to go, and I will kick this off. I am coming to you from my kitchen table where I do all my mom boss crap. So just so you know, it can be done anywhere, any place, surrounded by any amount of dirty dishes. We're not going to talk about what's behind the camera right now. I'm super excited for my new office. It's being built in the basement, but for right now, kitchen table is where it's at. So I've been thinking about this video for a really long time, you guys, and I have this same conversation with my customers over and over and over again, and it's something I am really super passionate about. So I'm not going to mince words. I'm going to just give it to you the way I see it, okay? Hopefully that's cool with y'all, but this is the way I roll today. So I will have conversations a lot with, my hands are freezing. Sorry, I'm gonna be doing that without even thinking about it because my hands are so cold. I just finished my shake, so my hands are cold from holding it. Anyway, focus. I have a conversation with almost every single mom that I work with at a certain point in her journey. It's usually about a week into her challenge. Maybe she makes it 2 weeks before we have this conversation, but we have this conversation a lot. And it goes something like this. I'm really loving all this healthy food, but I just don't know how much longer I can do this. Do what? I just don't know how much longer I can spend hours in the kitchen and creating these meals for myself, and then I still have to cook for my family, and it costs a ton of money, and it's just a lot more than I expected. And I'm over here going, whoa, back the truck up. Did you just say that you're cooking separate meals for your family? Yeah, of course I am. I mean, they don't like the stuff that I'm making. They don't like vegetables. My kids hate this. My kids hate that. So yeah, I can't eat what they eat. Wait a minute, moms. Let me ask you a question here. Who cooks in your house? I am speaking to the cook of the house. If it's dad, great, it's dad. But typically it's mom, right? Mom's the cook. I cook the meals in this house other than the occasional treat when Brett cooks or I let one of the big kids cook dinner. However, 99% of the time I cook. Yes? Okay. Stop catering to your family's pickiness. There, I said it. Just stop. Stop catering to their picky attitudes and picky ideas that you created with your bad habits. Stop. Okay, let me ask you this question, and if any of you guys want to give me an answer, I want to hear it. My husband just got home. I forgot he was coming home early. This should be interesting. So let me ask you this question. When you consider implementing a healthy lifestyle for yourself, why? Why do you want to make this change for yourself? Why are you going to the effort of reaching out, finding a coach maybe, surfing Pinterest, looking for healthy recipes, making a meal plan, going grocery shopping, buying stuff you usually don't buy, and trying all these new meals because they're healthy? Why do you do it? Think about that for a second. Typically, you do it because you want to be healthy, right? You want to feel better. You want to reverse some medical issue that you're struggling with. You want to lose weight. You want to avoid, a medical issue that is rampant in your family. Maybe you're trying to avoid diabetes or heart issues. Maybe you want to reverse cholesterol issues or high blood pressure or whatever it is. You're doing it because you want to be healthy and you want to feel good, right? Can we agree on that? Okay, so let me ask you this. Why would you want that for yourself and not for your family? Why would you want to go to the effort of making this body as healthy as you can and not do the same for your husband and for your children? If you can imagine your life back to your childhood, your teenage years, and your early adulthood years, think back and imagine if you had been raised in a household, and maybe some of you were, but think back to imagine having been raised in a household where it was all whole foods, it was all clean eating, there was no sugar in the house. If you wanted something sweet, it was honey or it was fruit. And that was just the way you ate. And that was food growing up. And that was what you were taught. Do you think it would have been a lot easier as you got into adulthood and as your metabolism slowed down and as you had the babies? Do you think it would have been a lot easier to maintain good health had you already been taught these healthy habits? I think it would. I really do. Now, growing up, I always felt like my mom was a very healthy cook. And I know that she was very healthy compared to most people. But I've also learned that we didn't eat nearly enough vegetables and we ate way too much meat. Typical Idaho family, meat and potatoes, right? And that's fine. That's just what we eat. But had I grown up in a house where it was, plates full of vegetables and lean cuts of meat and potatoes very rarely. That's hard to do in Idaho, by the way. But had I grown up with that kind of training, as an adult, I would have continued. That would have been what I knew. It would have been what I enjoyed because that would have been my comfort food. My comfort food would have been healthy food because my comfort comes from my upbringing, right? So your comfort foods, they're all things from your childhood. They're all the things that you enjoyed with abandon as a child. You never had to worry about if it was good for you or not. Those are your comfort foods. And as an adult, you realize that your comfort foods aren't healthy. Well, what if your comfort foods were healthy? Why would you not want that for your kids? As you learn these things about nutrition, as you learn how it works in your body, as you learn about the things you have to do as an adult, as a mother, to be as healthy as you can, to be here and active and available for your children for as long as possible. Hey, thanks for getting on, Ani. Why would you not want that for your kids? Why would you not want to teach them from a young age what is healthy and what is not? Okay, and I know that every one of you, when you think about this, you think, I do want that for my kids. Of course you do. You want the best for your kids, just like you want the best for yourself. So what you are doing when you start to eat healthy, when you start to eat more salads, and maybe you're eating more chicken and fish instead of beef and pork. Maybe you are, maybe you're drinking Shakeology. Maybe you are cutting out the cheese and the sour cream and eating just a lighter version. Why would you do all that and not teach your family to do that as well? Here's why. Because they're picky, right? They don't like change. This isn't their goal. They don't feel a need to change their habits. This is all you, Mom. This is not me, right? So you come up against this wall of resistance with your family where they're like, what is this crappy food? And where are my potatoes? And that's hard. And sometimes it seems harder to deal with picky kids than it is to just cook them what they want, give them their mac and cheese, and have your salad, right? So I am here to challenge you to change your mindset. I'm here to challenge you to be the mom that teaches them even if it's hard, even if it's a struggle, even if it's an all-out battle to get them to eat. I am here to challenge you to do it anyway and start incorporating these healthy foods into your family's lifestyle. Start teaching them now. My kids, when I finally started taking care of myself, my kids were quite a bit older. They were not babies. Most of them were not toddlers. My oldest was 8 or 9. So they had solid habits in place. They had their likes and dislikes when it came to food. And it was a little bit difficult. It really was. I will not lie. It was difficult. But I was determined that my children were going to eat good food because I had learned the science of it, and I had learned what it does with my body, and I had learned what it does to their bodies, and I was determined to give them the best that I could. That's my job as a mom, to give my kids the very best that I can give them. So I fought the battles, and I stuck it out, and I was persistent. And I am really happy to say that my kids love healthy food. Now, they still love sugar, and they still love bread, and they still love chips, and I still let them have those things to a point. But when we sit down to a meal together as a family, we are having healthy, balanced meals, and they are not given the option of eating crap food and skipping the healthy meal. It is not an option. Now, let me tell you one other thing, because I get this a lot too, especially with young moms, young kids. You're still kind of figuring this out. You're still getting used to kids that actually are stubborn and have ideas of their own. I hear a lot, but what if she doesn't eat? I mean, isn't she going to be hungry? What do I do if she just won't eat it? They're fine. If it means that your 2-year-old or 3-year-old goes to bed without dinner, so be it. That child will eat when he or she is hungry. I promise you. When they are hungry enough, they will eat what you give them. So you have to stand your ground. You have to be the parent. And you have to say, this is dinner. This is what I prepared. No, you may not go in the pantry and grab a bag of chips instead. Sit down and eat your dinner. And you got to put on the mom pants, and you got to do it. And you have to be consistent. And I promise you, it will pay off. I promise you. When my now almost 12-year-old daughter makes her lunch, 50% of the time, her lunch is a giant salad. I kid you not. That's what she prefers above anything else, is a big old salad with Italian dressing. She hates ranch. She likes Italian. When my 9-year-old and my 6-year-old are preparing their lunches, and honestly my 4-year-old, when they're making their lunches, sure, they have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, peanut butter and honey, but they know that they don't get that sandwich unless they also have a bag of veggies or a piece of fruit. That's just the rule in our house. That's what goes in your lunch. You get whatever your protein is, which is peanut butter a lot of the time, and you get your vegetables. And you don't get any of the extras that I do allow, any little bags of chips or any of the protein balls that we make that are super duper duper healthy, however, lots of sugar from the honey. They're treats for my kids, and they're not allowed them unless they have a vegetable or a fruit. It's just the rule. And it's taken time. It's been 3.5 years since I started making these changes in our family. But now it's accepted. Now they understand that. And now they know that mom means business when she says, this is what's for dinner and you're going to eat it. Hey, Megan. So that's my little pep talk to you about incorporating a healthy lifestyle for the whole family. Don't reserve that just for you. You are the cook. You're the mom. It is your job to keep your family as healthy as possible. So do not reserve healthy foods just for you. Now, I am going to give you some of my best tips on how I implemented this in my family, because obviously, if you go cold turkey and you just take away everything they're used to and you give them all this new weird stuff, they're going to freak out. And it's probably going to be led by the husband, right? So you got to kind of ease them into it. So these are some of my best tips. And if you guys have done this, if you've been through this, if you have other ideas or tips on how to help your family adjust and switch to enjoying healthy foods, throw them in the comments. I want to hear from you. I'm going to check this really quick. Okay. So, suggestion number one, my first tip, the first thing that I did with my family. When you learn about clean eating, you learn that a big part of it is nothing, that you don't eat processed foods. So when I say processed, and a really good rule of thumb is not to eat anything white. And let me explain that. So white flour is heavily processed, stripped of nutrients. There's nothing good in white flour, okay? White rice, same deal. It has been so heavily processed. I mean, how do you go from something that's brown to something that's white? Bleach. That's disgusting. So white rice is heavily processed. Don't eat white rice. White sugar, again, heavily processed. Sugar is poison. I am not making this up. Do a little bit of research and see what sugar does. It absorbs the nutrients from your body so that your body can't use them. Sugar is poison. So white processed granulated sugar, no bueno. Take that away. What else? White. So anything that's made with white flour. So pastas, when you're buying spaghetti, the regular spaghetti noodles are total crap. Like, there's absolutely no nutritional value in them. I don't care what the label says. They're straight up carbs. They spike your blood sugars. They're a mess. They're terrible, okay? So what I did, and I tried cold turkey one time, and I went straight to whole wheat noodles for spaghetti. It's one of my kids' favorites, and they flipped. And my husband hated them because they have a different texture and a different flavor. And they're like, what is this? This is disgusting. What did you do? So the next time I made spaghetti, I did half and half. I did half a package of whole wheat noodles and half a package of white noodles. And they didn't say a word. They didn't even notice. And I actually pointed it out toward the end of the meal, and I was like, how do you guys like the noodles? And they're like, are these the healthy ones? And I was like, well, half of them are, and then half of them are the ones you're used to. And they're like, well, that was really good. It was fine. And I slowly transitioned to where now when we have spaghetti, we have whole wheat noodles. I don't even buy regular noodles at all. We straight up have whole wheat noodles, and they don't think a thing of it. They scarf it down just like they always did with the white noodles. So switch to whole wheat. Do it with your noodles. Do it with your breads. Do it with tortillas. What else have we switched? Obviously switch to brown rice. Again, if brown rice has a very different texture and flavor to your family and they rebel a little bit, mix it with white for a while and then slowly transition them to where you're only feeding them brown rice. And I promise you, they'll come to where they don't even know the difference. What else have we transitioned? You guys get the idea, right? So all of those processed things that make your meals so easy as a mom, just start slowly transitioning them over to whole wheat or whole grain, and that's going to make a huge difference. Okay, tip number 2, Oh, another thing to switch over, besides those processed things, your meat. Most of us eat a whole lot of beef and pork. We love sausage, we love ham, we love, hamburger, and those are like the highest, they're the worst meats you can eat, especially pork. Pork is like 1,000 calories a serving. It's horrendous. So if you can transition from beef and pork and start using more ground turkey, obviously you can't use it instead of pork chops or steaks, but replace your hamburger with ground turkey. They won't know the difference. I did that one straight up. I never mixed them or anything, and my family doesn't know the difference. So replace ground beef with ground turkey. Replace your pork sausage with turkey sausage or chicken sausage. My family loves chicken sausages. We have this sweet apple chicken sausage. They love it. And I use turkey breakfast sausage, the bulk packages of sausage. I use that, and it's great. They don't know the difference, and it's so much better for you. So tip number 2, I kind of weaved in there, was not only to transition to these healthier versions, but to do it half and half, to do it a little bit at a time. Another one that we transitioned slowly was our mashed potatoes. We're Idaho kids. We love our mashed potatoes. I make some dang good mashed potatoes, y'all. My mom worked for a spud plant in R&D for my whole life, so she's trained me well. I know how to make mashed potatoes. So that was a really hard one for me to want to give up, and my family was like, give me the potatoes. So what I did is I started doing half a pot of potatoes and then a head of cauliflower. And I boiled it all together, and I mashed it just like I normally would with my potatoes. And I didn't tell them. I was really nervous. I was really nervous about this one, you guys. I mean, we're really picky with our potatoes. They couldn't tell. They knew something was different, and they were eating those potatoes, and they were just like, nom, 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 nom. You're so good, Mom. What did you do different? Nom, nom, nom. These are so good. And I was like, these are my secret ingredient potatoes, because I didn't want to tell them while they were still eating. And so that was intriguing to my kids, and they're like, what's the secret ingredient? And they're trying to guess and scarfing it down. Potatoes are gone. And then I finally told them, and they're like, what? Really? And they thought about it for a second, and they're like, well, they were dang good. So then, like, a couple days later, my oldest was like, Mom, can we have secret ingredient potatoes? Done. So our mashed potatoes now are typically half and half. There have been a few times that I've done straight up mashed cauliflower. We don't like that quite as much, but you can see how just mixing the healthy in with the good can kind of help your family to get used to the flavors of the healthier versions. And then before long, they prefer it because not only does it taste good, it makes them feel good too. Because I can tell you, mashed cauliflower is not going to leave you feeling heavy and exhausted the way mashed potatoes do. Everyone blames it on the turkey. I think it's the potatoes. So that's tip number 2, is to just transition slowly. Mix them half and half, and then slowly increase the ratio of healthy to the old not healthy. And eventually you're going to get to the point where you're straight up eating the good stuff and you don't even have the yucky stuff anymore. So tip number 3. This is especially helpful with younger kids. I was going to grab a plate. This one's dirty. I'll just show you the bottom. You know what? You guys, your younger kids, do you have plates like this? The divided plates, and there's usually a bigger section and then 2 small sections. And even if you don't have those plates, then we usually kind of do the same thing on any plate. We divide our kids' food into sections, right? Because kids don't like their foods mixed. That big section, y'all, is not for the meat. And it's not for the pasta or the potatoes. That big section is for the vegetables. That's one thing that our culture has completely backwards. Your vegetables are not supposed to be this little dot on the plate with a big old pile of spuds and a big old pile of meat. That ain't how it works. Sorry. So my next tip is to make sure that half of your plate and their plates is vegetables. And then you put on your other parts of the meal next to that. Half of the plate should be vegetables. There are so many things you can do. You don't have to stick to canned green beans, okay? Get on Pinterest and look up new ideas of ways to make kids love vegetables. One of our favorite things, my kids love it. Look up cauliflower fries. Is that what they call them? It's roasted cauliflower, and you season it really well, and you roast it in the oven, and my kids freaking devour that. If I do just straight cauliflower and I don't add any other vegetables, I have to do 2 heads of cauliflower for my family, and they'll eat it all. But what we really like to do is do like a medley of vegetables: cauliflower, broccoli, zucchini, onions, carrots, sweet potatoes, cabbage, asparagus. What else? What are some other veggies? Pretty much we've tried everything. And whatever vegetables you happen to have in the fridge, whatever you feel like trying, you chop up a bunch of them, you toss them all together, toss them in some olive oil or coconut oil, and then season them with tons of seasonings because they're free. They're good for you, except for salt. And it's dang good. It's really good. You just roast them in the oven at 400 until they're kind of starting to get a little bit crispy on the top, and they're done, but they're not mushy. My kids devour it, you guys. And if I really want them to chow on the veggies, I'll put a little bit of Parmesan cheese on the top, melt that at the end, and they're just like ravenous wolves. So don't be stuck in the old frame of mind that vegetables have to be steamed, mushy piles of gross, okay? Get creative and cook them in different ways. Make zucchini fries, make sweet potato fries. Call something a French fry and your kids are going to eat it. It doesn't matter what it's made out of. So get creative with your vegetables, but make sure that when you are serving your family that half their plate is vegetables. The big section on the plate is for the vegetables, not the potatoes. Okay? So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4, these all kind of go together, you guys. It's kind of the same thing, but sneaky veggies. Okay, you know your kids aren't eating enough vegetables. You know you're not eating enough vegetables, and your husband hates vegetables, but you know it's important. Start sneaking it in to where they don't even know it's there. The mashed potatoes was a good example. Another one that I do is I make my own spaghetti sauce, spaghetti lasagna sauce, and I put vegetables in it. I just grate up whatever veggies I have on hand, and I simmer it for 30 minutes or whatever, and they don't know they're in there. They're gone. Like, they are incorporated into the sauce. The flavor is amazing, and my spaghetti sauce typically has, like, I don't know, I would say at least a third of the overall pot of sauce is vegetables. It really bulks it up. So hide the vegetables. We have been known to put shredded carrots in pancakes. It's just like carrot cake. They don't know it's there. Chop it up really small. You can make fruit smoothies for your kids and put spinach in it. You can't see it. You can't taste it. So as long as they don't see you put it in there, they have no idea. Yeah, those are the big ones. Those are the big ones that I do the most. But start finding ways to sneak vegetables into the foods that you already make, and your kids are not going to even know the difference, okay? It's also going to help you, even if you're like, well, I don't need to do that for me because I'm happy to eat a pile of vegetables. Do it anyway, because you cannot eat too many vegetables, okay? The more vegetables you have, the better your digestive tract works, the better your weight loss system works, all of it. More veggies is always a good thing. Oh my gosh, Megan, you totally just gave me my last tip. Yes, iceberg lettuce, you guys, just don't. It has this much nutrition, zip. It has no nutritional value. So if you're gonna go to the effort of eating a salad, use romaine, use spinach, use baby greens. Don't buy iceberg. I don't even look at it in the store anymore. But yeah, that's exactly right. It's baby steps. So maybe you already eat salad and your baby step is to stop buying the iceberg lettuce or the iceberg lettuce packs and switch to romaine. I really like romaine because it's crunchy like iceberg. So I like it for that. I do not love baby greens because I feel like they get mushy too easy. Cream soup and a bottle of beans. Oh boy. I don't know if cream soup sounds so healthy, Sherry. But yeah, are you talking about green beans? I see what you're saying. That would be yummy. Yeah, so find creative ways to serve your vegetables and serve more of them. And it's going to make a huge difference. Huge difference. Let me check what this is. Okay. Last one. Megan kind of revealed my last tip. My last tip, don't buy it. Stop buying crap. Stop. Like, don't buy a bag of chips or a candy bar and then tell your kids it's not healthy and they can't eat it. That's stupid. Or don't buy that crap thinking, well, I'll let them eat healthy at dinner and then they can have this after dinner, and expect yourself to be able to say no. It ain't gonna happen. If it's in the house, you're gonna eat it. Don't keep a stock of ice cream in the freezer just in case. That's dumb, you guys. Stop buying the crap. Go and raid your pantry and clean out all of the junk that you know you shouldn't be eating, and stop buying it. Just stop buying it. If it's not there, you're not going to eat it. You know what? We go out for ice cream all the time. All the time. I swear we do it at least once a week. However, if I bought ice cream at the grocery store, we would have it every single day. If it was in that freezer, we would have it every night after dinner. So I am more than okay with going out for a small ice cream cone once a week compared to a giant bowl of ice cream in front of the television every night, because that's what we used to do. So find your weakness. What is your weakness that you can't turn down? Stop buying it. What is the junk food that your kids devour quicker than you can buy it? Stop buying it. Replace it instead with good stuff. Have tons of fruit in the house for them. Have tons of veggies cut up and ready for them to eat. Start making cleaner versions of your treats. These protein bites that I keep posting about that Brianna loves to make, they like inhale the things. It's peanut butter and oatmeal and honey. That's like the gist of it. And then I go and sneak in chia seeds and flax seeds and coconut. That's their favorite thing on the planet, and they just devour it like it is the best treat ever. And I feel okay about it because I know they're getting superfoods. I know they're getting clean, unblemished foods that are not gonna like kill their guts, okay? So just stop buying the crap. Stop buying it. Make it a treat. We tell our kids, oh, let's go get a treat, but we get a treat every day. That's not a treat. That's a staple. A treat is an occasional occurrence. It's a once in a while reward or indulgence. It is not something you buy every time you're at the store. So make a treat a treat. Don't buy it every time you go to the store. Don't get your kids a piece of candy every time they come to the store with you. Don't come home with desserts and snacks, nasty snacks, every time you get groceries. And I guarantee your grocery budget will go down when you stop buying that crap. And then you have plenty of budget left over to buy fruits and veggies, okay? Those are my tips. That's what I've done. That's what I've experienced. My kids are still kids. They still love junk food and they still get junk food. But I would say at least 75% of the time they're eating healthy. They're getting their veggies. They're getting their fruit. They're getting whole grains. They're stealing my Shakeology if they're in the house, like every time. Let your kids be healthy. Teach your kids to be healthy right along with you, and stop cooking separate meals. Stop enabling them, because you're going to make their adulthood even harder than yours was, because they were trained that this is what they should eat. So make a good choice, but make it for the whole family, and be tough, be strong, stick with it. And I promise you it's worth it, because eventually you're going to look at the stuff that you think you're going to miss right now. One day you're going to look at it and you're not going to miss it at all. And it's going to make you sick. So you can do this. Stick with it. If you guys have any questions or you run into any particular struggles with replacing certain foods in your house or whatever, let me know. Comment here, shoot me a message, whatever. I would love to share whatever ideas I may have. And just stick with it. You guys can do this. Okay, I got to go get my boy from preschool. Thanks for getting on, you guys. I will talk to you later.